Top of the morning, afternoon, and the evening. It's the Wayne World Podcast. You know what it is. We gonna get that raw. We gonna get that real, that uncut. For so. You know it's your boy AntMoe. For so. You know it's your boy AntMoe. Boy, don't act like you don't know we love God. For so. Chill. For so. Alright, man, let's get into it. You know what I'm talking about?
Top of the morning, the afternoon, and the evening to you, whomever you may be, wherever you may be watching, looking, or listening. It's your boy AntMoe, trapping out a bando. Whoa, let me with your big baby. Welcome to Wayne's World. It's my middle name, you know what I'm talking about? And we got my boy Randy in the building, you know what I'm talking about?
Randy C Mays, man, my whole name. Hey, can we cuss on here?
Man, let me tell you something. If we ain't cussing, we ain't Christian. You know what I'm talking about? We big cussing over here. You know, every week that's how we get down to here. You know what I'm talking about? And so listen, man, I want to welcome all the Waniacs, man, those people who rock with your boy week after week after week, the people who enjoy running those streams up, the people that not only watch on YouTube, but listen on the audio as well. I love you from the bottom of my corazon. You know what I'm talking about? And for those of you who are first-time casual listeners, you come on back round now, yeah. Show them boys how you do it up in Harlem there, boy. You know what I'm saying? And so, for those first-time listeners, you may be wondering, what is the Wayne's World Podcast about? I'm glad you asked. It is a variety podcast, man, for the classic man with an edge, the man who loves God, puts his family first, and aspires to be great. Our intent is to educate, inform, and entertain, man. And we want to be a safe haven for the believer. And so if you fit any of those, check, and check, come on through. You know what I'm talking about? And sit down with your boy. And what is today's podcast about? We going into a new year. You know what I'm saying? 2021 got to be better, right?
Gotta be.
I hope so, folk. You know what I'm talking about? We shall see. But with that being said, let's get into some randomness. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, you random, huh? Random. Yes, sirski. We in this thing, you know what I'm talking about? And so, man, let's get into it beyond the shadow of a doubt, you know what I'm talking about? And so, the Chitty Chatty House.
Okay.
Clubhouse, for those of you who aren't in the know, you know what I'm saying? A new app that just came out a couple months ago, actually. And so we were so privileged to get some access to it.
Absolutely.
And so I wanted to say, first of all, it is an audio-only app, okay? You can link your social media. You can put your bio just like any other app. But it's an audio-only app, and it seems like it's going to be the wave, much along the line of kind of like how podcasting is going.
Yeah.
So my first question to you is, what is your overall thoughts for the newbies? This is for the people who haven't got the app yet or are going to get the app. They waiting for their invite or to be added in. What are your thoughts on it?
First off, I have one invite left, and I'm selling it for $250.
Yes, sir. I'm doing mine for $500.
Okay. So send me a DM. We might be able to make a deal.
You can get in.
Start there.
But it's going to cost you.
But listen, Clubhouse is it. Because the good thing about Clubhouse is that you can always be tuned in. I like it that if I'm sitting at work, I can have a headphone in and I'm catching knowledge. If you go to the right rooms, go to a knowledge where you can catch some gems and learn something. It's a lot of nonsense and drama on there, but if you go in there for what you're going on there for, I mean, 5-6 hours a day, you are literally soaking in knowledge.
Yeah, folks, we can't forget about the old moan rooms. You know what I'm talking about? We can't forget about the old moan rooms. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It go down after 12. After the freaks come out after 12 a.m., folk. You know what I'm talking about?
Out of pocket.
I ain't gonna cap with you. I slid in there one time. I told my wife I was sliding in there, though. I wasn't in there to entertain. They had just finished. They was picking a winner. And when they was about to go into a new one, I hopped on up out of there, folk. I'm too saved. You know what I'm talking about? But nah, I would agree with you. It is definitely the wave.
Yeah.
It is very informative, man. And real quick shout out, my boy but shout out to Paris Pullen, man. He was dropping some gems. It's free game for people who want to be in the right rooms and want to learn.
Absolutely.
But I took it a step further and linked up with him on a consultation, and it was straight fire. Absolutely. So shout out to that man. And I think that the pros are you don't. It's just like podcasting or when you're on YouTube. You don't have to be there locked in looking at something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely meant for you to be on the move.
Right.
It's you get to rub elbows with some people who you may not have known. I've been in some crazy rooms and it's dope. But some of the cons are, it seems like people are trying to sell themselves as something that they aren't sometimes. Listen, fam, I will accept you for who you are. Absolutely. Like, you don't like, I'm even willing to follow somebody who ain't made it there yet.
Right.
If you're on your way and you're really giving us valuable content, but don't come on there and you selling programs for 10 stacks now. It's like, fam, who knows you? Were you popping before Clubhouse?
Right.
Do your numbers really indicate conversions in whatever business that you're a part of? And so that's some of the things that you just have to look out for. You know, some people didn't follow me, unfollow me, all that goofy stuff. I'm not in it for that. I'm not really in there trying to super follow people either. At the end of the day, if I find my group of people and the goal is to moderate a room, you know, and start letting people into what we do in podcasting and to grow your net, then it's definitely the app for you.
Absolutely.
And if you're a freak, you can come on there and you can just pick your times and your hours. They be on there talking about aliens and all type of stuff on there.
Energies and chakras.
Yeah, all them chakras, Kim folk. All them chakras. But it's cool. I mean, it is what it is. But, you know, take it for what it is. Don't go on there thinking you finna change your life when you get on there. You'll get some valuable content.
Absolutely.
But don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
They'll fool you. VR.
Yeah, man.
The VR game. Now the name that I had for one is the Quest 2. Is that the same one?
Oculus Quest 2.
Oculus Quest 2.
Yeah.
Now he had it and it brought me back to a certain frame of mind, but I want you to kind of tell me about what the game is and just your experience in dealing with it, because you got it for the girls,
right? But
you enjoyed it as well. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the Oculus, man, it's like they came out with the headsets a while ago where you could hook your phone up to it and stuff like that. It's like that on steroids.
Okay.
So, I mean, you are fully, when I played the boxing game, you can see the whole ring. You can turn, you can maneuver. They right there in your face. You can see the punches coming at you. And it's a full body workout. Because, I mean, when you in a fight, you like in a fist fight. Like, real talk, I woke up sore the next day. But, man, it's cool. It gets the kids up. It gets the kids moving. It ain't just sitting down with the joysticks or sit down, stand at a tablet or the TV. My kids stay on it for hours. They take their turns, whatever, man. So, man, it's $299 for the 64 gig, and it's like $399 for the 256 gig. But if you got kids that's stuck at the house and you can always buy games, wirelessly or whatever, it's worth the investment for sure.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I didn't know that the first part of it was being attached to your phone, and then I didn't know that like the first round of it.
Well, no. Well, no, I'm sorry. So they came out with some headsets a while ago. You get it like the dollar store, and then put your phone in and download VR games.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I didn't know about that. Okay, I know about that.
This game here is a thing by itself.
Okay, and then you say that the quote unquote cheaper version is for $299.
Yeah, 64
gigs, and then the other version is $399.
Yeah,
for 250,
like 256, something like that.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad.
Yeah.
So what it made me think of, and if some of you guys agree, let me know. But it reminds me of when the Wii first got popping, and they had the sports board that you could stand on, and you could surf, you could golf, you could box, and it was a full body workout as well. Do you not see it in that same wave of popularity, or do you see it standing the test of time? Because a lot of people just got done with that Wii and they was off of it.
Right. It's definitely not as popular. I feel like when the Wii dropped, I feel like everybody's family was on it. You had to have one. They were sold out everywhere type situation. I don't think this is as popular. I think it should be.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think it should be, man.
Yeah, that boy was arguing with them girls over, kinfolk.
Yeah, man.
The girls tried to lie to him, say it wasn't charged.
Yeah, man.
Well, say, hey, is it charged? Like his tone changed when he started talking to her. I cracked up.
Hey, run it here before I take it.
Yeah, folk, I paid for it. Folk, it's mine.
Exactly.
So, as we are talking about going into a new year, I wanted to kind of touch on a few things that we deal with on a regular when it comes to the new year. Some of those are the New Year's meals that we dealt with growing up. Now, I would just start this thing off because we may have the same, similar ideals, or it may have been different. But I remember black eyed peas. Got to throw the sugar on them things for me personally. Otherwise, I couldn't really eat them. Did you fool with them?
I did hot sauce.
Oh, you did hot sauce are cool too, but black eyed peas, cornbread, and I think we might even did like neck bones or something.
Some greens and yeah.
Now this is my thing. I only really ate my grandmother's cornbread, and when she passed, I really ain't ate it since, to be honest. But I really don't particularly care for any of those things. If those are supposed to be good luck things, maybe I ain't had no good luck my whole life because I don't fool with none of these things, dog. I've ate enough neck bones to turn into whatever animal that possess that neck of the bone. Like I'm really good on that. What about you?
I just used to do like a little cup of black eyed peas. I really didn't care for them either. But as far as the greens and whatever meat went with it, I was fine. It wasn't no big deal.
Now the green, I don't. It was hit or miss because sometimes going to New Year we kind of had no bread, so that would have been a little different. But yeah, I'm down with the greens as well. What about so the tradition that I used to see was maybe amongst the white folks. I love y'all if y'all watching. I love y'all, but it was the whole kissing somebody to bring in the New Year, and I'll part that right there and say the black people I knew was popping guns. They popping pistols to come in the New Year, care folk. Random people end up dead throughout the city because somebody was popping their guns in the air. Have you ever killed somebody on New Year's or popped a pistol to bring in the New Year? Don't infiltrate yourself. Don't implicate yourself, care folk.
I've kissed somebody on New Year's before, but that's not like a thing that's just like it has to happen type.
Yeah, there's some people that was like, hey, who you available? I got kids to bring in New Year.
No random.
No, I'm talking about that's how some people are. That's how some people are.
Yeah.
I've never done either. I didn't pop folks to bring in a New Year, but popping that pistol in the air, folk, that ain't my thing. You know what I'm talking about? I don't like waste bullets. You know what I'm talking about? My ammo gotta go hit flesh, folk. You know what I'm talking about?
You need help. These is jokes.
Yeah, this is straight comedy. We be capping on here. We'll never infiltrate ourselves, folk. But speaking of popping pistols, Snowfall is returning. Yes, Ersky.
Bring it back.
One of the hardest series
absolutely
ever. Now, for those of you who may be the Power versus Snowfall, there is no comparison.
There is no comparison.
It's not the same. It's two different shows. Both fire in their own regards when they were in their heyday. I think some would agree that as Power kept going on, it got more and more unrealistic, and it was a little less entertaining for me. By the way, I did say from the beginning that Tariq was going to kill Dad, so I was correct about that. But that's a whole nother thing. But Snowfall. Franklin is back. My boy, old girl done shot that boy up good, folks. He got the cane. You know what I'm saying? He's still fresh to death, got the suit. But tell me about your experience or your thoughts on Snowfall itself. And shout out to John Singleton, who passed. Rest in peace. He was the original director and writer of the show, if I'm not mistaken.
Man, I can appreciate. I like the whole dynamic, man. So as crazy as it is, I'm a Franklin fan.
Yeah.
So I was mad at his mama when she wasn't rocking what he was doing at first.
You want to support him becoming a drug lord?
Yeah. So I wanted her to support him. Like, oh, you mad he paid your house off with drug money?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so the way he was crafted, man. And then when they became business partners and stuff with the apartment thing, I'm like, man, there you go. Come to your senses.
So I definitely was rocking with Franklin.
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to take that turn that every kingpin takes where they become ruthless and heartless, and it's like, hey, look, you either the shark or you getting ate. And it happened obviously in the jail scene after old buddy, they beat him up, and then he just was like, he came back, got his shoes back from old buddy, right. Mm-hmm. Then came over to told old buddy like, hey, I know you got your sister over there off of Crenshaw, like that was hard. But it took him so long to get there that it started making me dislike him, because you can't listen. We're talking about neither one of us has lived a drug life, so let's not get that twisted. We aren't thugs in the real regard. Let's just keep it like we cap a lot, but we ain't real thugs here. Let's just keep it a stack. But we can understand how you can't play the nice guy when you're in the drug game. It can only get you so far, and then you might have to use a pistol on somebody, right. or do something illegal that's going to instill fear in somebody. Absolutely. And so I didn't rock with that initially. Right. And he took losses. He took a lot of L's as a result of that. Losses. So I enjoy the show a lot, man. I think seeing his journey from college kid to make his way just to selling nickel bags or whatever, it's some weird thing. I said this a long time ago. It's a weird thing about us that we kind of like to see the bad guy kind of do his thing a little bit. Because let's not get it twisted. He's a bad guy. Absolutely. He's selling drugs in his own community. He's had people killed even if he didn't kill them. That's not a good guy. But it's just something about him that you resonate with, his wit and his intellect, that I really believe, to look ahead, I think he's going to make it out. Do you think that?
Yeah, I kind of feel like that way. I don't know what's going to be his next play, but yeah, man, it's going. So when it drop again? When is
the
it
24th, the 24th of February.
Okay.
So we listen. It's going to be January now, folks. I can't wait. Me and my family going to be sitting on the couch watching it together. You know what I'm talking about? All of my little shooters. You know what I'm talking about? Little AVA, little Riley. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. She if she can hold her head up, she can hold a pistol, folks. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. But yeah, man. So we look forward to getting us some of that, man. And you know what time it is, dog. It's time to move on. And we're going to get into, you going to get these sports. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, yeah. Huh. And we back in here. Hey. Yeah. Hey. This ain't no intro. This that entree. Did that intro with Kanye and sound like Andre. Trying to turn my baby mama to my fiance. Hey. Nice zoo guys. You know what I'm talking about? Nice Azukas in this mud. You know what I'm talking about? All right, man. So let's go and get right into it, bro. So going back quite a few years, this is when Cam Newton was in Carolina. Yeah. Early on in his career, like, no, that's just a little bit of context. His first 3 games of his NFL career, he threw for over 400 yards 3 times in a row. Had never been done by a rookie. Maybe, I don't even think Andrew Luck did that, and he was supposed to be the most can't miss quarterback since Dan Marino. Okay. That's the proper context. But you started to see when he wasn't winning, he would throw that towel on his head, he would go sit by himself, he would tear that gum up while he sit on the bench. And to me, it showed that he wasn't really as much of a team player as I would have hoped that he would have been, to have the spotlight on him being a young black male in that sport. Right. So I told my buddy, I said, I don't think Cam Newton going to be in the league long. Now, this was when he was rocking. Now, I turned out to not be correct, because even though he spent the last year out with the ankle surgery and stuff like that, he's been in the league for a while. Ended up winning the MVP, went to the Super Bowl, didn't give the effort that people felt he would. Some people thought it was fixed. You know, he ended up leaving the press conference when he heard the team on the other side of the wall, Denver, that just won the Super Bowl, celebrating. They gave him so much flack for that. He got in a car accident where his car flipped over. Nobody knew exactly what happened, but his SUV flipped over. So that was a big deal. And now he went through this whole process of saying, you know, I'm back. I'm finna make a statement. You know, I'm with the right team. There's a lot of things that Tom Brady did that I can't do, but there's a whole lot more that I can do that he can't do. They are officially 6-9 and won't be making the playoffs. First time that they will have a losing record, the Patriots I'm speaking of. First time they will have a losing record in Lord knows how long, over 15 years. And Tom Brady pretty much clinched. No, he didn't clinch the South, though, because New Orleans clinched the South. But they will definitely be making the playoffs. I mean, was I right or was I right? If you can't go and make it in New England, where guys come to revive their careers, if we look at Randy Moss and we look at there's a lot of guys. Look, I can't even think of a lot of guys, because a lot of the guys was no-name guys. It was I'm trying to think of the running back that played for Cincinnati for all those years. He can't help me. He don't be recalling. But there's a lot of guys, though. Even Chad Johnson made it to a Super Bowl over there. Yeah, bro, I don't see him being in the league for real much longer, especially when he's doing the same things that he was doing in the beginning of his career. If you don't appear to be a team player and you're pouting and you don't want to do your press conferences and you're not performing, more importantly than anything, right? Because it's just like the Ray Rice thing. Ray Rice, a lot of people say, oh, it's because he put his hands on a female. That's a lie, because a lot of people who put their hands on females still played in the NFL. Absolutely. But when you only averaging 2.6 yards a carry before, you're dead weight. And so if he's getting replaced by Jarrett Stidham, some random guy, and some third string guy, they won't put you back on the field, who's going to take a chance on you? You had the best opportunity possible. So I say all that to say, much respect to you, Cam, but I hope you got your ducats saved up or somebody give you a chance. Maybe go play in the CFL or something. I don't know. But going on to these Cowboys.
Yeah, man.
Some strange way, these guys have won 3 games in a row in convincing fashion, mind you. And they have a chance to make the playoffs. How, Sway? Like, it ain't Ralph, though. Like, how are the Cowboys able to find mediocrity and get success in it? Why? And you could understand just the concept of winning and losing.
Right.
If you lose your star quarterback and you have a backup,
yeah,
and your star running back is not producing the way he's done in the past 3 years, why not just lose and get the best draft pick that you could possibly get?
Absolutely.
I don't understand the Cowboys' mindset to want to still be relevant when it doesn't benefit or feed them.
Not going far in the playoffs.
Yeah, and even if you do, okay, let's say you make it to the NFC Championship. So what? Now you're hoping that Dak comes back and he's healthy and that he actually can get you there or better.
That boy gonna be out of rhythm.
It's not gonna. I don't get it. When you could have tanked and got one of the best quarterbacks in the draft, or at least got high draft picks so you can get good defensive players. I don't understand why the Cowboys do these things to us. For those of us who watch it. Now I'm watching, but I'd be totally conflicted. I'd be like, yo, can y'all just all get like 100 yards apiece and then lose? Like, do well, get your stats together, but don't win.
Right.
They're disappointing. They're absolutely disappointing.
Usually are.
All right. Something I got to hear his mouth about.
Hey, keep my mic on, man.
Hey, folks. Basically, the Lakers played the Mavericks on Christmas Day.
Oh, did they?
And I said the Mavericks were going to win by 20 based off of certain circumstances. So
you was half right.
So what had happened was it was actually kind of flipped. It was inverted. And so the Lakers had then won by 20. Mm-hmm. And the Mavericks appeared to be soft tissue paper. Mm-hmm. What can I say, man? Like, I'm still a fan. What you want from me?
Mavericks don't have no dogs, and ain't no dogs coming to the Dallas market, bro.
How can you say that ain't none gonna come, though? You can't say that, folks.
Mavericks get old dogs.
Can't teach your old dog new tricks.
Like you remember when like Nicky V came? Nick was a thug. Nick was hooping, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And you know the thing about Nick Van Exel,
yeah, man,
was that boy had a crazy spin move, folks. I don't know if you remember that spin move. That boy used to have all type of reels with him doing that spin move. I thought I was Nick Van. You know what I'm talking about? Like, real talk. That's what I did. But nah, man, I don't. You may be right about that, bro. I think the next offseason will tell us everything that we need to know about if somebody is really going to come to the Mavericks. Because especially if Luka wins MVP. Because who doesn't want to come play with an MVP?
It won't be enough, bro.
But see, the thing is, look at Giannis. Giannis is actually starting to get pieces. They may not be the best pieces in the world, but he's starting to at least get some pieces that he could use. He was able to flip Bledsoe and all this and that. So I don't know. I just think it was a terrible showing. And for me, for you to do what you did to the Clippers without Kawhi doesn't say much to me.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a realist as much as I'm a fan. And mind you, people who watch the podcast faithfully will know I wasn't even big on the team or on Luka at first. Like, I was just like, man, you got to prove it to me. And I think his playoff run last year, where they went against the Clippers, kind of they raised his stock a little more than what was warranted. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially with him coming off the ankle injury, that's what made me believe Luka was a dog. The game before, Luka couldn't walk. He tried to come in the game and he left because he absolutely just couldn't play no more. For him to come back the next game and get a dub without Porzingis, that sounds like a dog to me. When you're talking about a team like what we thought the Clippers were. But that's then going to see the Clippers go up 3-1 on Denver and then crumble, Kenfolk.
Yeah, man. But LeBron ain't always been a dog though. So it's like you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? He had a while where
That's fair.
he had a while where he didn't show up in the fourth quarter. Like for a life stretch. A dog gonna show up in the fourth quarter, so
and let's preface. There was a lot of games where he didn't show up in the fourth quarter against solid teams.
Right.
He showed up against the Gilbert Arenas teams and stuff like that, but they were no real threat to him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when it was the Boston Celtics or somebody like that was like, nah, we coming for your food. He didn't show up in those moments. So that's a good point. That's actually a very solid point.
Dog don't mean talent, skill. That you can be MVP and not be a dog. You know
Showing up in those clutch moments mean a lot, and being able to tough through some stuff. So, Jimmy Butler is the absolute dog.
That's the epitome of a dog.
And it's funny to hear him talk about the type of. They asked him. He did an interview one time, and they said, "Who's the type of player that you wouldn't want to mess with?" And the people he named was people you would never think of. They were just some no name guys, but he was like, "I would not be caught dead messing with this type of dude." Right. So that's dope. Just kind of see those guys like they really respect the guys who really about that.
Yeah, man.
It was this. Have you ever heard the story about Zebo? Remember Zebo? The guy played for was it the Timberwolves? Zach Randolph.
Yeah.
He got into it with the guy who they called the Kobe Stopper. What was his name? The guy who played for Portland. They called the Kobe. He wasn't really the Kobe Stopper. Whatever his name was, in the comments, please tell me who that was. But basically, he got into it with that guy. That guy was relatively a nobody in the league besides that. But he pretty much like, I think he slammed. They said he was from like Nebraska or something. He was strong. He slammed Zebo, and he was out for like 2 or 3 games. And I think something happened, and he ended up like putting him out, and he got in trouble or whatever.
Yeah.
Cliff something. It was Cliff something. But Zebo snuck him after the fact, and dang near broke an orbital bone or something. And the dude was like, "I won't kill him." But it's just funny to think. You would think Zebo is the type of guy nobody would ever bully or overpower him. But when you can't test people metal like that, bro, because you never know what somebody got. You know what I'm saying? So that's actually pretty interesting. I learned from you that old hip turn.
Full hip turn, folk.
That'll knock somebody out. Catch them where you got to catch them at though.
Cross chin.
Right across that old chin, hip turn. They out for the count. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. But to close it, man, hopefully the Mavericks get something together, man. According to my co-host, it ain't gonna happen. He ain't the guy. But I hope so. I hope because, bro, listen, man, we can't. Last championship was 2011. That's the only championship, and what they did was nothing short of miraculous. But even within that championship, you could kind of nitpick. Okay, what if LeBron was just regular LeBron and he didn't just completely fold? They probably win. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like it was too many things to happen but I'm still gonna take it. You can say what you want to say about LeBron or Miami, but we took them down, folks. So that's a big deal. So moving on, man. Let's get into the meat. What is a resolution? If you would just think in your mind, if not thinking about an actual definition, I'm gonna give you an actual definition. But what in your mind is a resolution?
A resolution. Mm-hmm. Well, this is what I think when I hear resolution.
Mm-hmm. Give it to me. That's what I want.
A lot of people tell themselves at the end of every year that they're going to do something different for the next year. That's a lie.
Big facts. That's what I think of too. Something that people don't do. Something that they say just to make themselves feel good don't come through. Yeah. So the definition, and I have 3: a firm decision to do or not do something. That's the first one. A firm definition to do or not do something. The second one is the quality of being determined or resolute. I set my mind to, right? The third one, the action of solving a problem, dispute, or contentious matter. Yeah. All solid things to you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But it don't happen.
Never.
Statistics will tell you less than like 5% of people actually follow through with the resolutions that they set out to do, which is actually pretty sad and pathetic if you think about it.
Right.
So my question is, why don't people follow through with resolutions?
Zero accountability. That's the main thing, man. Like in our circle, when we did our first quarter goals, we said, "Hey, we start these today." Mm-hmm. I put up on my Twitter, man. January 1st will not change your work ethic.
Facts. It's the misconception that people think that because the calendar changes, that something in them is really going to change.
It's crazy.
The reality is that people who start their resolutions or goals right then and there, the numbers are astronomical on the positive side of who actually get things accomplished. Right. So, I think people just are used to cookie cutter. Yeah. They want it fast. And then when they don't get it, or they put in a little bit of effort and they don't see that result, they quit. Yeah. And I don't know why that is, but it's just a reality. What are some of the most overused New Year's resolutions or statements that you've heard?
I'ma lose weight.
Girl, when the clock strikes, I'm going to be fine. I put New Year, New Me. Yep. Fit and fine. Mm-hmm. I'm a plan for this year. I'm a plan for this year in this year. It's my year. It's my time. Y'all better start listening to them prophetesses that be up in the chatty house, kid folk. Hey, they be prophesying up in that chatty house, folk.
They really do. And all y'all not going with me in the next year.
Your baby daddy gonna still be on speed dial, folk. Quit playing.
Yeah, like this status if you F with me.
Yeah.
Everybody else gonna get deleted.
Right. Please delete me. I'm gonna delete myself. Y'all hate that. Which brings you to another thing. Why do people keep thinking that because you send that little thread in my DM that you really gonna get some money? Like, stop it. We are so gullible as a people, bruh. And I'm talking about humans. Like, if you really love me, send this to me and 10 other people. It's like, stop, dog. You ain't getting no money unless you go work for it. Or sell something, folks.
And I ain't sending nothing to 10 other strong men. Stop trying to bait me.
Exactly. I'm like, I roll with real ones, folks. You think I'm finna inbox them? It's your time. Just send it to your mama. Nah, I ain't doing that, folks.
Nah, folks.
So, is motivation necessary or no? Do we need videos, self-help books to make improvements?
Some people do, yes.
Some people do.
Yeah, some people do. Some people need. Some people don't have enough ambition and drive to kind of push themselves. So some people sometimes they need a quote or feel good thing to get out and do a task. The thing is, though, it becomes a drug and they have to keep running back to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So that's what I was thinking. Mm-hmm. When people run to those books, when they run to those Gary Vee videos, mm-hmm. when they run to what's that one you really like him, the Nino Brown. Nino,
he's funny. Yeah, he's funny.
I'm like, fam, no.
But I wouldn't call him motivation though.
I think he thinks he's motivational.
Oh.
So the problem with that is you get so caught up in retaining the information that you never do anything with it.
Right.
You can't listen when you get your well filled up. You have to then turn and empty that well onto somebody else or turn it into some type of actionable steps.
Yeah.
But you can't just go and wake up in the morning, do your affirmations or whatever it is that you do, watch your video, pray, get in the Bible, get in the word, whatever you do. If you don't follow it up with some actionable things to help push yourself forward, nothing's ever going to get done.
Absolutely.
I have a board back here that I bought yesterday, and then Randy went and jocked my whole style, folk. You know what I'm talking about? And I wrote down all my daily tasks, my goals for January and February, some growth strategies that I learned from the Chitty Chatty House, you know what I'm saying? All types of things, but it means nothing if I don't actionably do something about it.
Right.
And so I was actually going to ask, why are we so devoid of motivation internally? And I would say that sometimes when you've been through so many hardships as a human being, it makes you think, why bother? Like, you start out to do something, like, it's some people that have experienced one hardship after another hardship after another hardship, and it does two things. If it's a person of faith and their faith isn't rooted and grounded properly and they don't have the right system around them, it makes them question God in a bad way. Because God doesn't never say, don't question me. You know what I'm saying? But it makes you question God. Number two, it makes you think that that's your plight. That's just the life that you're going to live. This is just my lot in life is I'm just going to not be successful. I'm not going to struggle. I mean, I'm always going to struggle. I'm not going to make any money for my family. I'm not going to do anything. And I guess, how do you get people to get around that? How do you get people to get around, well, God don't love me, and as a result of that, this is just my life?
I would ask them why they feel that way, number one. Mm-hmm. And then number two, I would say, what is it that you tried that you feel that didn't work out well for you? You could have simply been trying to do something because you saw somebody else do it and do it well when they could have been operating their gift. Mm-hmm. So I would take that back to, what is your gift? And if you don't know what your gift is or your purpose is, then at the very least, you begin to serve people. And as you become responsible serving people, some gifts and stuff begin to get exposed. You may realize you had a gift of gab that you're good at encouraging people. Mm-hmm. It may not be a big platform. You may not ever have 1 million followers. That may not be what you're called to. You may not be able to handle that. So I would see why they're saying that, what it is they tried and failed at, and get them to kind of move and operate in what kind of gift and their purpose is.
Also, it made me think about, there are a lot of people who actually are operating in the system or the field that they're supposed to. You just don't even have the tools necessary yet. Okay. You can see somebody, and both of y'all are gifted, both of y'all are talented, but they have the right connections. They put the groundwork in. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They've inboxed the right people. They didn't just sit on their hands. Right. A lot of people who have great networks, it didn't just fall in their lap. Right. They did work for free. They went to certain places and did certain things to get the tools necessary because you can't build something from nothing like that. That's only something for God. Right. You can't just do something out of nothing. I don't care who you are, what you think. Like, absolutely, you need to be able to have a team. You need to be able to have resources around you. Right. Even if it's one thing, to be able to multiply, absolutely, to have people to see something in you, to want to, you know what I'm saying? Buy into what you do or who you are to start to grow into whatever that thing is that you may want to do. Right. And understand, one more thing, understand that losing is a part of life. Yeah, for sure. Failure is a part of life. Absolutely. It's all about what you do after that counts. What the Bible say, a righteous man falls 7 times, but he gets up 8. Yeah. And so understand that the people that you see, the Steve Harveys and the Kevin Harts and a lot of these people, the Jeff Bezoses, all of these people, they started somewhere and everything that they did didn't turn to gold. Yeah. There's stories about Steve Harvey sleeping in his car. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kevin Hart grew up in a tough part of Philadelphia. Yeah. The only thing he had was comedy and swimming at a certain point. Right. So there's a story behind all of these people. Understand that you're building your story. It's not where you're at isn't where you have to stay, but you have to do something about it. Don't just sit on your hands or get woe is me all the time, and put people around you who care and who love you, to encourage you and to give you the tough stuff. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's good to pat somebody on the back. Oh, I love you. Yeah. But hey, man, get up. Yeah. Don't sit here. I don't know what you're going to do, but you ain't finna sit here. Yeah. So.
Yeah, man. My one thing that just hit me when you were talking was that, man, then sometimes, man, you may not have promoted to where you think you ought to be because of what you're attached to. You might be trying to take what the world offered you and what the world gave you and what the world had you feeling good. You can't walk that into God's promises. So you may be holding on to some stuff that you ain't told nobody. On the surface, you look like you doing what you're supposed to. Whatever you got behind closed door, whether that advice, that struggle, or even that person, they might can't go where you going. So you got a decision to make.
It's kind of reminds me, and I've heard some interpretations that are a little bit different as far as the whole story of Abraham and Lot. There are some people who say it was not necessarily a problem that Lot went. It was the choices that Lot made after the fact, because there was never any real issues between them. And it's just something that some people said, but it's what people use when they say, not everybody can go with you. Some people just say that, and then they bring up Abraham and Lot and say, well, look what happened as a result of this, blah, 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 blah. And that's not always the case. Right. But that is true. Everybody can't go with you. Yeah. You can't hold on to people who just want to stay where they're at. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's growth that comes in shedding. It's the classic thing of what I tell my clients when it comes to training, right?
Teach.
When you are overweight, you have to put yourself on a diet, which means you're going to have to shed fat, unwanted things. Fat has no purpose in your body but to store stuff, right? And it weighs you down.
Teach.
So then in the process of you gaining muscle and losing fat, you still have to shed the fat, right? You can't put fat on top of muscle. So you have to shed that from your body to actually get better. Even for a bodybuilder, when you go on a bulk and you go on a cut, the bulk is designed for you to put on as much fat and muscle at the same time as possible. Hopefully you're not eating too crazy so that you can actually put on good, clean muscle. How do you get the good, clean muscle? It's not bulking for the rest of your life. It's then dropping down to a healthy weight where you can see that clean muscle that you put on from the 4 to 5 months or longer that you use to actually bulk.
Teach.
People got to understand that, like, and you going up, you're going to have, it's going to get smaller. There's no way that you can grow and bring 100 people with you at once unless you did something crazy or illegal. Let's just put that out there. Right. If we moving like Franklin, we probably can bring a whole bunch of people with us. But I told somebody, and shout out to my boy Jeff, because he had posted something that pretty much said, I'm going to paraphrase it. Should you continuously put work in for some cause or somebody that you're not getting something from, even if you feel called to it? And I said, absolutely.
You say if you feel called to it?
If you feel called to it. And I was on Chitty Chatty House last night, Clubhouse, for those of you who don't know, and I was listening to Nikki Saunders, and she pretty much was telling the story of, I'm working with ET, but I didn't need his money. I wasn't getting paid. I worked for free. Number one, I was benefiting from what he was saying. But then number two, I knew it was something that I had purpose in doing what I was doing. So I'll get what I'm supposed to get when I'm supposed to get it if my heart remains pure and I put the right work in.
All right.
But don't stop doing a good thing for somebody who you know is deserving of it because you don't get what you think you should get.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's important, man. We need more people who are just serving others. Like you said, there's so much blessing that you can get just internally and from God that may not equal monetarily initially, just from serving other people.
Absolutely.
And so that was definitely important, man. Like, serve others, and in due season, you'll get what you, and it may just be for a season, and then God could open the door for you to go do something phenomenal, magnanimous, spectacular. And so I encourage you guys, man, to look beyond what you think you should get. Because you just said something and it slipped my mind that fast, but pretty much thinking that you are owed something in a certain season of life, like you may not be ready for it. It takes other people, and that's where the community matters, because
Absolutely.
You need somebody to say, fam, I understand what you aspire to do, and that's great. You're actually in the motion of doing what you're doing. Right. Do you know how badly I want to be at thousands and thousands of streams? But I just may not be there yet. Or I may not have those necessary tools. Or maybe I do have all of those things, but I just got to keep my head down and keep working.
Right.
But I need people around me for the encouragement to say, hey, it's a fire podcast. I appreciate it. How can I help? What do you need from me? But then I also need the people to say, fam, maybe reaching out to brands just ain't it right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just get your streams up. Work on turning your platform into a TV show. You know what I'm saying? Work on your hashtags. Like, there's right. always something you could do to be getting better.
Absolutely.
So don't neglect to better yourself and get complacent because you feel like you're owed something or deserve something. And then that way you always are. See, motivation is a feeling thing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. When
you're called to something, you don't need feelings. When you called to something, you sick or they tripping or, you just don't want to get out of bed. If you're called to it, you're going to get up and do it because that's what you know you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Focus on what you know you're supposed to be doing, and the rest will follow.
Right.
The woman that you want, the man that you desire, all of that stuff as you chase God and do what your purpose is will start lining up for you. It's amazing how it happens. We've all had that aha moment where you just going through the motions and you just doing what you know God, and then you look up and you ain't where you was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now I ain't there, but I certainly ain't back there. And so, yeah, man, I think that's some news y'all could use today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And so y'all tell me, what are y'all thoughts on resolutions? Y'all tell me what y'all got from that. At the end of the day, once again, I want to build a strong community of people where we can have some good dialogue. You know what I'm saying? Like record, screenshot something, inbox me at the Wayne World Podcast on Instagram. And, comment below if you're on YouTube and let me know what y'all think about that segment and, what you got from it for me and my boy Randy. You know what I'm talking about?
That way.
So we moving right along, folk. Let's get to this question of the day. And this is for the people specifically. Given everything that we've talked about in the podcast, what are some of your goals? Not your resolutions. I want to get away from that term because it's got a bad kind of, it's kind of like people selling Primerica, folk. Somebody come try to say you Primerica, you be like, nigga, go on, folk. I don't want no parts.
At all.
Bruh. Hey, tell them about when that old boy tried to get on your head, talk about that Primerica, folk.
I know who that do.
That boy tried to charge him about his family, folk. That boy said, y'all almost did turn into Franklin for a quick second.
That part.
But yeah, man, let's get away from the resolutions and let's get into actionable goals and steps. You know what I'm saying? Like, have you made it plain? Have you wrote it down?
Absolutely.
Write it down and make it plain. You know what I'm saying? That's Bible. And there's a term that I heard from actually when I was going through this vocal training, and it says proper preparation prevents poor performance.
All right.
As you start to elevate and get on certain stages, which this is one thing I would say about Clubhouse. When I hopped in that first room and I was on the waiting list to speak, my heart was beating through my chest crazy. I was nervous, but I knew I needed to do it.
Right.
We got to break down those barriers that are stopping us from growing, right? And this is what I do. I talk, I podcast, I do this, and I'm in a podcasting room, and I'm nervous about what they're gonna think about what my podcast is about, and how do I present, and all these things. And I'm sitting there, and my heart is literally going crazy, and I'm like, crap. And Randy, he in the room, and he texting me saying crazy stuff, and we capping like we normally do.
Yeah, man.
And then that moment come, and I execute. As much as I could have hopped out, whatever. It is allowed me to make some connections that, Lord willing, that I'm able to build upon, but it also took away that fear. I don't got a problem hopping in a room now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it allowed me to take myself from one phase to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And so when you prepare properly, it prevents you from performing in a poor way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean perfect. But proper preparation prevents poor performance. At least do what you set out to do.
Right.
Even if you kind of stumbling through it.
Right.
That's whether you're starting a new job, whether you're a speaker, whatever your thing is. Prepare properly. I've went over my elevator speech so much, I could do it in my sleep.
Love it.
So what is it to do to somebody else that I don't know? You got to put yourself out there.
Right.
So with that being said, let's get into the momentous moment. You know what I'm talking about? So we kind of touched on this a week or two ago, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all. When I was on my consultation call, I brought up to Paris, and I've said to Randy, and I've said in other circles, man, everybody is wanting to do a podcast. Everybody's a content creator now, and it's low key offensive because it's like, fam, you wasn't with nobody when they were shooting in the gym, folks. You told a couple jokes at the family reunion, now all of a sudden you're a comedian. You know what I'm talking about? You wrote reports in college, and now you're a writer. And I'm not trying to disrespect or down talk nobody, because y'all can look at this podcast and say, you trash, folks. You put out the old trash pod talk. You know what I'm talking about? But that's not the idea. I'm not trying to hate on nobody, but I just want to encourage everybody to do your research. This is for the people who are podcasters, who aspire to do something, who are doing it, who are entrepreneurs. The one thing that I've learned from listening to the Clubhouse app and connecting with certain people and seeing their work and their efforts and their progress, it's people that have been not worked for another man for the last 9-10 years, that have been making their own money for themselves, that have really been doing it. Yeah. It's way more work, and it's not as glamorous as you think it is.
Right.
Before you just grab a phone, and that's my thing. I want to live in a healthy space of encouraging creators to just create, but don't just put out any old thing because you want to get to a bag, so to speak.
Right.
It's gotta be something that's deeper than just making money for you.
Right.
Money is important, but it's a tool, just like anything else.
Absolutely.
And far be it for me to tell you to not get to a bag. If you can get somebody to pay you $1,500 a month to drop an ad or because you get a lot of traffic to your page, by all means do it. But don't forsake the work that it takes from real podcasters and content creators who put that work in to get where they're at. Just because somebody else got 75,000 don't mean that you supposed to have 75,000 just because you say so.
Right.
Put the work in. Care, like give people. I know as much as it is hard. Listen, Erykah Badu said it. I'm sensitive about my ish. I get it. This is my art, and I'm sensitive about my podcast. I'm sensitive about what people think. I believe that my only thing that I've done is hone in even more and more on what my niche is. It's still the same demographic of people, but it's identifying them more clearly. That takes work too. But for you to be able to take the action steps that you need to take, you have to get yourself in the right arenas and circles to be able to get feedback, to be able to bounce stuff off of other people. Like, don't be afraid to have somebody hurt your feelings a little bit so that you can get better.
Right.
Because that's what it ultimately takes.
Yeah, man.
Randy, you got anything you want to impart on the people before we get up out of here?
Nah, man, you got it.
Already, man. Listen, I appreciate everybody. I thank you from the bottom of my corazon, as always, for listening.
Absolutely.
If you're watching on YouTube, please drop a comment below.
Please. Like,
share, and subscribe. Don't think that somebody else gonna do it. If I got 16 views, give me 16 likes, shares, and subscribes, and hit that bell so you'll know when the next podcast is dropping on YouTube. If you're watching or if you're listening on any other outlet, especially Apple Music, give your boy 5 stars.
Yes,
give me a comment. Let us know how we doing up here. Give us 5 stars and nothing else, though. Please. We don't want 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't do us like that. Give us 5 stars and let us know you appreciate what we doing, man.
Absolutely.
Y'all know what it is, man. It's another week of the Wayne World Podcast. We'll be back better than ever next week. Ready to give you that work. You know, talking about bro. Yes, Sirski. And man, y'all know how I end every podcast, man. Life is hard enough. So please, don't just live elevated. Until next week, I love you. May the Lord keep you. We'll see you at the conference. Peace.